everything laid out here that we need for bottling. The first thing we did was rack our beer from our 5-gallon carboy into a 5-gallon plastic bucket, which makes bottling easier because you can pour the corn sugar in and stir it around more readily, just keeping it protected from the air till we get started here. We've got our sanitized beer bottles. We have our bottle capper. We have our sanitized beer caps, our corn sugar ready to add to our beer. It's all cooled down. And over here we have our siphon tube ready to go. But instead of using our racking tube, we have attached our bottling tube, which has a valve on the end, which allows you to start and stop the flow of the beer with the little plunger that's at the tip, so that the siphon can run and then be stopped as you transfer to a different bottle. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is add our cooled corn sugar to our bucket of beer and give it a good stir around to get all that sugar suspended in the beer so it's evenly distributed to each bottle, because you want every bottle to have enough carbonation to give it a good fizz. Okay, we stirred and stirred and stirred, and actually during the bottling we're going to keep on stirring just to make sure that the sugar doesn't settle to the bottom of the bucket. And our next step is to get our siphon going again and start filling them bottles. We've got a little bit of water in the siphon, so I'm going to pump that out. And once again, I'm going to steal a little sample so I can test my progress here. And then I'm going to start filling the bottles one by one. It's really handy to have someone helping you during this stage, but you can easily do it by yourself. As you see, I've just lined my bottles up here, and I'll just start going one by one. The bottler valve, the bottling tip, allows you to start and stop the siphon inside of each bottle as you go. It does have to be a little bit lower than the bucket to keep the siphon going. And this bottle is just about filled. And you'll see we'll leave about 1.5 inches of airspace to allow pressure to build in that bottle. You don't want it to be too full or too empty. And then move on to the next one. So really you can just keep them lined up in a case like this and go bottle to bottle. Just keep your eye on the level so that you don't overflow and make a mess. So we're just filling our bottles one at a time here. And as with everything in home brewing, you really want to do this as quickly as possible to minimize your beer's exposure to air and outside contamination. That's why it is handy to use the buddy system, because while one person is filling bottles, the other person can be putting caps on them, and you can really cut down on the risk of contamination. But, you know, if nobody's around, you can do it all single-handed, and if you just move quickly and focus, no problemo. As you can see, it's also a good opportunity to do some more recycling. If you save your cardboard 6-pack holders and 12-pack holders, you can store your homebrew in it. Also, if you come across any special, unusual bottles that you want to save and reuse, now's the time. So really you're helping the environment by homebrewing, all this recycling. If you have a moment, you can grab your siphon and your sample glass and sneak another little taste. So while you're bottling, you can kind of see what's going on with your beer. Check out the color, the aroma. Careful not to overflow your bottles while you're testing. You can always break the siphon for a minute. And you can kind of see now how much your beer has changed during the secondary fermentation. It's really developed a lot of body and character at this point. It's starting to taste like real beer, baby. Beer on the wall, 88 bottles of beer. They come down, pass around. It's towards the very end, don't be afraid to just tip your beer bucket to help the beer collect down in one corner, so it's easy to finish off that siphon and get most of the beer out of the bucket. Come on, one more. Just one more. Are we gonna make it? I'm trying to get one last bottle, every last drop. Okay, friends, got all our bottles filled up. About 2.5 cases this time around. That's a pretty good take. And now it's time to pop the caps on those suckers. So get out your handy dandy bottle capper. There's tons of different styles, but I kind of like this one. It's got a little magnetic surface in there to hold the bottle cap. You pop that on the top of the bottle, and then using even pressure on both sides, just squeeze down. And there you go. It's just that simple. Resist the urge to squeeze too hard, or you will and crack the neck of your beer bottles. Safety first, all right? It just takes a nice, gentle, even thrust. Ta-da! Now, I'm an old-fashioned bottling type of gal. Some people prefer to keg their beer, which is great too. But I like to be able to take a 6-pack to a friend's house or hand them out as gifts at the holidays. So any method of preparing your beer is great. Hey, we're not here to judge, okay? More power to you if you got a kegging system. Now, if you do have a kegging system, just make sure you really check those seals every time you keg your beer to make sure that you don't have any unexpected leaks. That's the other nice thing about bottles. They never leak. Last but not least, you're going to want to identify your beer. And if you got computer skills, you can make yourself some fancy schmancy labels. Or you can just make it as simple as taking a Sharpie marker and putting an identifying mark on the top of each cap. And since mine's a two-hearted clone, I'm just going to put a little heart on the top of each one so that I know what's in there. Because if I start making beer every week, I don't want to get them all mixed up. And then I just put the name and the date that they went into the bottle so I know approximately how long they've been bottle conditioning to achieve carbonation. Now, if all goes well, in about 8 to 10 days, our beer should be carbonated and ready to try. Some folks like to let their beer bottle condition for a little bit longer if you're making a stout or other style of beer that takes a longer time to develop. Just like people, sometimes beer takes a little bit longer to mature, depending on what kind of style it is. So I'll see ya in about 8 to 10 days, and we'll crack one open and make all our dreams come true.